So hello, everybody. Welcome to our neighborhood meeting on weatherization. My name is Ray Staley. I am one of the regional coordinators in the outreach department for Mid-Michigan Community Action. I am going to pass this over to Justin Walls. He is our housing services director, and he will take it from here.
Yeah, thanks, Ray. Just want to take an opportunity to talk about weatherization, about what it is, the impact that it has on individuals' homes, and then why you should participate in it. Weatherization as a whole is designed to save energy and improve the comfort of your home. It's designed to look at each individual home because every home is different, and we want to make sure that we're taking into account all of those different variables. We want to look at the construction of the home. We want to look at the insulation of the home, look at the doors, we look at the windows, we look at insulation, and we bring all of those back and we say, how can we save you money? So every dollar that we invest has to be returned as a dollar in energy savings to the home. So we're going to look at how efficiently is the furnace operating, and can we improve that? Can we add insulation so that we can keep that heating or cooling inside of the home? And then we're looking at other things as well. We're looking at ventilation, we're looking at smoke detectors, and we're looking at how can we keep that a healthy and safe environment. So this program is driven by income, so you have to be under the 200% of federal poverty level, and Ray and all of our outreach staff can be great resources to see if you're eligible for the program. But once you're eligible, once you're determined eligible, then you're passed off to local people who come in and they assess and create these work orders for you. And local contractors, the ones that are actually doing the work. So it's a really great program that can make a large impact in the lives of our clients and in the community, because the less gas we use, the less electric we use, the more money that can go to buying groceries, to buying medication, whatever you need in your life. And that's really what the biggest impact that I see, biggest long-term impact, is because we're creating sustainability inside of people's budgets and inside of people's lives. So that's really the nuts and bolts of the program. If outside of that, when we're looking at eligibility, this isn't limited to homeowners. You can rent, you can have a land contract, even landlords, if they have multi-unit complexes, there's a lot more involved, but we can talk about that and we can weatherize those units as well. So this isn't really limited to anybody. So everyone, as long as you're income eligible, we can come in and do this. Other questions that we get is, is there, I'm retired and I have a 401k. Does that matter? Well, in this program, no, it doesn't. It doesn't look at your assets, it only looks at your income. So if you're just taking Social Security, that's okay, you're still eligible. We do have to we do have to verify ownership for eligibility, but like I said, outside of that, we just have to have the landlord's consent to come into the home. So that's the only catch there. So we help people in primarily 6 counties. So we have Clare, Gladwin, Midland, Bay, Mecosta, and Osceola. And those are the primary counties that we're helping with as of right now.
Justin, how long does the process usually take if someone were to be eligible and sign up for the program?
That's a great question, Ray. So eligibility can take up to a month, just because we have multiple I's, making sure that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. And then after eligibility, right now we're doing inspections as soon as a week. We received applications on Monday and we already have them scheduled for Friday. So right now, if people are looking to get some services before winter, that's very conceivable, and we can do that. When we do come out, we do an initial inspection to make sure that we don't have areas that would preclude the home from receiving services. So presence of asbestos, if the roof is leaking and it's significant, it's not something we could address, or if there's any other significant sewage leaks or electrical hazards in the home, we're looking at those to see if we can partner with other funding sources to get those taken care of before weatherization starts. So it doesn't mean, if you have any of those, it doesn't mean that we can't help. It just means that we might work a little bit harder to get those other issues fixed before we do help.
And once you are in the home, what does that process look like?
So once we're in the home, an energy audit is conducted. That process takes between 4 and 6 hours, depending on how large the home is and how complex it might be. The more additions there are, the more time that takes. After that, the auditor comes back and inputs all of their findings into a computer. That computer program is what tells us what we can and can't do. So it's not the auditor making a determination. It's not me making a determination. It's the savings that are generating what measures we can do. So while I would love to replace every single door and window, windows and doors are essentially, glorified holes in the house. They allow energy to pass through more freely than the wall would, and so they don't save as much energy to replace, and as a result, they're harder to replace. We can do more work on homes that have propane because propane's more expensive. So people say you have to spend money to save money, and so with natural gas homes, it costs less to heat the home, so we might not be able to do as much work because we can't save as much money. After the energy audit, and we establish the work order, it's given to a contractor. The contractor comes out and says, this is what we're doing to the homeowner, making sure that they agree with all the things that need to be done. And then the work is performed. After the work's performed, we have a final inspection to make sure that it's in compliance with our program, to make sure that everything was done that we possibly could do, and we go from there. So it's, in terms of time, it could, that whole process could take up to 2 months, but traditionally around 3 to 4 weeks to complete, just because we're working with mechanical contractors and shell contractors, and they have busy schedules, especially in the summertime.
Is there a specific time that you have to be living in the home before you can qualify for the program?
No, there's not. You can. You could have just moved in the program into the home. We do look at prior energy usage, so it's something that we might project, but it's not necessary. As soon as you move in, apply. We'd love to help any way we can.
I do want to touch back on, though, what you had mentioned about it being harder with the weatherization program to replace doors or windows. So if that happens to be a thing that needs to be replaced, the client who is applying can also reach out to our outreach offices, and hopefully we can take care of those with some other programs. So they aren't just kind of ignored. We can help you with some other programs, hopefully, as well. Is there a more beneficial time of the year to apply for the program?
No, we do work year round. And honestly, people might think that we need insulation more in the summer than in the winter because we don't want to insulate once the winter's there. But actually, and this is kind of, I would have never thought this before being involved in the program, we can do a lot more effective job when we can see the temperature differences, because we can see where the cold air is coming in using infrared cameras that actually will detect the differences between hot and cold. So it's actually a little bit harder this time of year to detect all of those differences, because many times, especially without air conditioning, inside and outside are the same temperature. So it's harder for us to find those holes. We have ways to do it, but infrared cameras don't prove to be as effective in the summer as they do in the winter. So any time is perfect. We do work year round. In the summer, it's obviously easier on the client when we're coming in and out of the house. We're not opening and closing doors and letting all that hot or cold air out. But any time is perfect. And I would encourage anyone to apply, because we want to help as many people as we can. And right now, with our turnaround being so quick, we could help a lot of people very, very quickly.
Are there any specific, I know you mentioned something about furnaces earlier, are there any other appliances that the program would be able to replace, and what do you look at when determining that?
Oh, great question. Because weatherization does so much, it's hard to think about all of it at one time. We do look at furnaces, hot water heaters, refrigerators, and that's primarily the things that we're going to look at. We're going to evaluate safety on other things like wood stoves. We're going to do chimney inspections to make sure if they do have a wood stove, it's operating in a safe and efficient way. In the rare instances that we can't fix it, we'll block those off so that way, no one could be potentially hurt by using that appliance. But refrigerators, we're going to actually hook up a meter to it. We're going to meter the electricity usage, and then we're going to put that back into our program to project how much electricity each refrigerator uses and how much we could save based on the newer models. We look at lighting as well. We look at replacing incandescent bulbs with LED bulbs. Hot water heaters, we're looking for safe operation. In the rare instances that they're not safe, we can replace them. And furnaces, we're looking for safe and efficient operation as well. Furnaces are more likely to be replaced because we do a lot of heating in Michigan. And so if we do have an older furnace, it's something that increasing that efficiency is going to go a long way, because that's where we spend the bulk of our heating dollars is right there.
Do you have an idea of what the average savings amount is that the program creates for the clients?
So every house is different. I wish I could say there is an average, because if we're talking a large 3-story house, we're going to save a lot more money than, say, a small 1-bedroom home. So when we're looking at this, we're looking for an average of 30% across the board. But many times, because we have such great contractors and such great inspectors, we're seeing up to 50 to 75%, depending on when it was built. The older homes weren't built with energy savings in mind, and they have lots of holes, little insulation. So obviously we're going to see a lot bigger savings on those. Newer homes, even homes that were built 3-4 years ago, weren't being evaluated by the standards that we evaluate, and we're finding that we still can get savings of 30+% on those homes. So it's incredible. Just because your home is new doesn't mean it's efficient. So if you do qualify for the program, even if your house was built 3 years ago, we want to come in and take a look and see if we can help.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Justin, on talking about the weatherization program today.
Thanks, Ray.